Chapter 22, A Giant Ear. Flora
Ulysses
by
DiCamillo.
Awesome. Her father was standing on the top step of the door. He was wearing a dark suit and a tie and a hat with a brim, picturing it, even though it was Saturday in the summertime. Oh wait, so it's summertime and he's wearing a dark suit, right? The heat and the color of the dark suit makes it hotter. And he's wearing a tie and a hat. Flora's father was an accountant at the firm Flitton, Flossin, and Frick. But Flora wasn't sure. She thought it was possible that her father was the world's loneliest man. He didn't even have Incandisto and Dolores to keep him company anymore. "Hi, Pop," she said. "Flora," said her father. He smiled at her and then he sighed. "I'm not ready yet." "Oh, that's okay," said her father, and he sighed again. "I'll wait." Why is she thinking that he is the loneliest man ever?
Was he single?
Kennedy?
He's really sad. He doesn't really have anyone to talk to.
Did it say he's really sad, or did it show he's really sad?
It shows.
It did. It showed he's really sad. And he is single. And maybe singles are a little lonelier than people who have a partner. Just thinking about it. He walked with Flora into the living room. He sat down on the couch. He took off his hat and he balanced it on his knee. "Are you in the house now, George?" Flora's mother shouted from the kitchen. "Is Flora with you?" "I'm inside," Flora's father shouted. "Flora is with me." The click-clack-clack of the typewriter echoed through the house. Silverware rattled, and then there was silence. "What are you doing, George?" her mother shouted. "I am sitting on the couch, Phyllis. I am waiting for my daughter." Flora's father moved his hat from left knee to right knee and right knee back to left knee. Ulysses shifted underneath Flora's pajamas. "I forgot that's where the squirrel was. Remember yesterday she came back from the neighbor's house because Dad was there to pick her up and he was hiding underneath the pajamas." "What are you two doing today?" Flora's mother shouted. "I don't know, Phyllis." "I can hear you perfectly well," Flora's mother said as she came into the living room. "You don't need to shout." "Flora, what have you got underneath your pajama top?"
Oh.
"Mom knows there's something." "Nothing." "Is that a squirrel?" "No." "What squirrel?" said her father. "Don't lie to me," said her mother. "Okay," Flora said. "It's a squirrel and I'm keeping him." "I knew it. I knew you were hiding something. Listen to me. That squirrel is diseased. You are engaging in dangerous behavior." Flora turned away. You know, kids do that. They turn away when they don't want to listen to the adults.
Like this.
Like
Like this.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so good at that. It's frightening.
Or you roll your eyes like this.
She had a superhero under her pajamas. She didn't have to listen to her mother or anybody else for that matter. A new day was dawning. A girl with a superhero kind of a day. "I'm going to change now," she said. "This will not work, Florabelle," said her mother. "That squirrel is not staying." "What squirrel?" said her father again. Flora went halfway up the stairs and then she stopped. She stood at the landing. The landing is where the stairs stop and it's like at the top or in the middle sometimes if your stairs come halfway down and then turn, go halfway down. The criminal element suggested that anyone truly invested in fighting crime, investing criminals, should learn to listen carefully. All words at all times, true or false, whispered or shouted, are clues to the workings of a human heart. You know what I'm noticing? She uses what she learns in her stories to apply to her real life. That's what I'm noticing. Yep. Can you put that on your desk? And put your chair under your desk? Thank you. You must listen. If you care to understand anything at all, you must become a giant ear. I'm envisioning a huge ear the size of a person. That was what the criminal element suggested. And this was what Flora intended to do. She pulled Ulysses out from underneath her pajama top. Sit on my shoulder, she whispered to him. He climbed up on her shoulder. Listen, she said. He nodded. Flora felt brave and capable, standing there on the landing with her squirrel on her shoulder. Do not hope, she said. Instead, observe. Are you a hoper or an observer? Hopers, raise your hand. Observers, raise your hand. Those who don't know, raise your hand. We have some of those. She took a deep breath and let it out slowly, and she herself had stood absolutely still. She became the giant ear. And what Flora, the giant ear, heard was astonishing. So what would I write on a sticky note? If I am taking notes, I would write, Flora becomes a giant ear. Does she really become actually a giant ear?
No.
That is a figure of speech. What is she doing? Doing. She is not imagining. You are imagining as you read the story. What is she doing? Messiah.
I forgot what I was going to say.
What is she doing when she becomes the giant ear? She doesn't become an ear. She doesn't turn into an ear.
Wait, she puts her ear next to the score.
And what does she do?
Makes a giant ear.
She doesn't make a giant ear. There's no giant ear here. There's only her acting like a giant ear. If you were a giant ear, what could you do very, 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 very well?
Here. Here.
So she is listening. She is hearing what they say. Chapter 23, enter the villain. We have a villain entering. Who is the villain? What is the villain?
I'm the villain. Probably.
What is the villain? What? Not who, because I said who. I meant what. What is the villain?
The villain probably is a person.
What's that?
Probably a person.
Probably, but what is a villain? Not the one in this.
Someone who destroy the world or take something above. Or
Control the world. World domination.
Or,
Except, I know.
They are the bad guy.
make people
They are the bad guy.
Make people die.
George, said Flora's mother, we have a problem. Your daughter has become emotionally attached to a diseased squirrel. How's that? Said Flora's father. There's a squirrel, said her mother, speaking more slowly now as if she has to say that so he understands. There's a squirrel, repeated her father. There's an unwell squirrel. I think there's tension between these two adults. There's a sack in the garage and a shovel. Okay, said Flora's father, there's a sack and a shovel in the garage. At this point, there was a long silence. I need you to put the squirrel out of its misery, said Flora's mother. How's that? Said father. For the love of Pete, George, shouted her mother. put the squirrel in the sack, and then hit him over the head with a shovel. I can't believe I just read that out loud. That is horrific.
No. Wait, Bonnie?
It's a super squirrel.
I have to, hang on.
The super squirrel.
All right, I just opened a random page and it says, it's got the squirrel's name in it, so the squirrel does not die. Rest assured. Flora's father gasped. Mrs. Pelly's class gasped. Flora gasped. She was surprised at herself. All the ladies in her mother's romance novels put their hands and gasped. But Flora was not a gasper, she was a cynic. I don't understand, said her father. Sit down, said the teacher. Flora's mother cleared her throat. She uttered the blood-soaked words again. She said them louder. She said them slowly. You put the squirrel in the sack.
No.
George, you hit the squirrel with a shovel. And then you use the shovel to bury the squirrel. Put the squirrel in the sack, hit it over the head with a shovel? Oh no, Phyllis. Oh, Phyllis, no. Yes, said Flora's mother. It's the humane thing to do. Girls and boys, is this humane?
No.
Humane looks like, is this the human thing to do?
No.
This is inhumane. It is not humane. Everything was coming into sharp and terrifying focus. The story was starting to make sense. Flora understood that she made a mistake in thinking that William Spiver was anybody but important. Ulysses was a superhero, probably. Phyllis Buckman was the arch nemesis, definitely. And that means the enemy. Oh my, unanticipated occurrences. So what did we find out in that chapter? Mother wants to, well, she doesn't want to kill it though, right?
She wants to get rid of it.
She wants to get rid of it for good.
She wants to hurt it for good.
So what's her heart like?
Her heart is like, her heart is core.
She's probably upset that she broke up with the guy. That's why she's doing it.
Oh my gosh! She's probably upset she broke up with the father. That's why she's so miserable and angry. Good words.
I was thinking of that, but then I was thinking of that because she went like, "Where are you, George? What are you doing, George?"
So,
George Washington.
George the dad, haha. So, girls and boys, but Phyllis won't kill it. She wants someone else to kill it. Who does she want to kill it? Oh, I'm sorry, get rid of it.
The DAD.
The DAD. She wants the DAD to get rid of it. Chapter 24. Stalked, chased, threatened, poisoned, etc. He should have been shocked, but he wasn't, not really. It was a sad fact of his existence as a squirrel. There was always someone somewhere who wanted him.
Dead.
You guys have good eyes. In his short life, Ulysses has been stalked by cats, attacked by raccoons, shot with BB guns, slingshots, and a bow and arrow. Granted, the bow and arrow was only made of rubber. But still, it hurt. He had been shouted at, threatened, poisoned. He had been flung ears over tail by the stream of water issuing from a garden hose turned into full force. Once, at the public picnic grounds, a small girl had tried to beat him to death with her teddy bear.
Oh,
What? A teddy bear?
So let's just say Ulysses the squirrel has never been appreciated. He has never been wanted like we are. Life was dangerous, particularly if you were a squirrel. In any case, he wasn't thinking about dying. He was thinking about poetry. That was what Tootie said he had written. Poetry. He liked that word. Poetry. It was small and dense. The way it rose up at the end as if it has wings. Poetry.
He's running up.
Don't worry, said Flora. You're a superhero. This malfeasance will be stopped. Ulysses dug his claws into her pajamas, hung on tight to keep his balance on her shoulders. Malfeasance, said Flora again. Poetry, said Ulysses. And that, my dear friends,
What?
is the end of 24. What do we learn in 24? What will she do?
The mother?
Nope. Flora. What is she saying? Do not worry. What do you think, Messiah?
That she's not gonna let her mom get rid of it.
Get rid of it, that poor squirrel. All right, so I wrote a sticky note with three things on it, one for each chapter. Number 22 was giant ears, so they are listening. Number 23 was mother wants to, I put X. I put X, the squirrel, and make dad the bad guy. She wants it out, but she doesn't want to do it. And chapter 24, Flora will stick up for Ulysses. Be brave, she says.
Ulysses is a superpower.